charitable aspect of Chipserver. So Monica, you work with a lot of underserved communities in areas in Africa and the Caribbean. How did you meet Saul, and how did you realize that Chipserver could help you in your charitable endeavors?
Oh my goodness. So I give a very short introduction of myself because the focus here is Chipserver. But I'm an advocate, a gender advocate at the United Nations for the past 21 years. And so we had a forum on education because it's so important to have access to education. And I don't know how many of you know the UN have 17 goals. One of them is leaving no one behind. Another one is access to education for everyone. So we had one of those. I had a conference at the UN, and Saul was invited, and he spoke on this very device that he had, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my goodness, you know, I advocate strongly. I have put on the ground in 9 countries, and most of them are in Africa. I also am the dean of a school, UNESCO Institute for Passion Education, where we teach life skills, and it's such a challenge, but up to date, we have graduated more than 250,000. And 25% of those have started their own business. They have startup. Banks were impressed with what we're doing, and they give them startup loans. But it's such a challenge because it's in Africa. And as you know, it's not stereotyping, but there are communities that are rural, and it's lack of electricity. They don't have water, they don't have, some of them are on the trees. And it's really, really important to have information. And in the age when we're here in New York, we have this tech level all the way up here, to think that there are communities that don't even have cell phones, that don't know anything at all about what's happening in the real world. So we're leaving the majority of people behind. And we're not building bridges with tech, we are building barriers. And so we need to have access, more access for people who cannot and do not have access to education or information. I will give you an example. We just had the COVID epidemic, right? You know how many communities did not find out or did not know what is happening until someone got on some sort of vehicle and drove into the village and says, oh, this is going on. This should not happen. So this is really, really important, Saul's device, because it would give us that vehicle that would take us to not leaving people behind, and to build bridges, that barrier with the tech. It's not going to be easy, and it's not what you would call an overnight thing, but it's a vehicle that could be a lifeline to these people.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I wrote my book, and it talks about a lot of those issues that I just spoke about, and it's called Child of a Child. It's on Amazon. It's about defending my work that I do with the girls.
Available on Amazon. So we spoke a little bit about barriers to entry.